Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the SoCal Sports Dudes podcast. Jason Wen here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the NFL. As we know, we just had the Conference Championship weekend, so now we're down to our final two teams here and headed to the Super Bowl. So thank you guys for tuning in. Before we get started, can you please hit like, subscribe, provide some comments in the comment section below so we can help grow this channel. Again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. So today is January 30th of 23, of course. Yesterday was an exciting day of football. NFC, of course, wasn't quite as exciting as maybe the AFC matchup, but wanted to run through those real quick. Of course, the early game we had, the NFC matchup, 49ers playing the Eagles. Eagles won that one pretty convincingly, 31-7. Niners just had their, unfortunately, the luck of the draw didn't seem to favor them. They had the injury at quarterback to when Purdy hurt his elbow. They come in with their backup quarterback, and he gets knocked out of the game. So they really just had were kind of up the creek without the paddle there. Yeah, it's unfortunate they were looking so solid going all the way to this game, and I'm sure the outcome would have been a lot different had we not seen the quarterback get hurt early in the game like that. And then top it off, Johnson comes in and gets hurt. So kind of a rough way to finish the year there for the Niners. I mean, they kind of hung in there, and McCaffrey had that nice run there to kind of tie it back up. But after that, it was just, I think they were it was an uphill climb for them, having to keep up with the Eagles, who look pretty like they're at full strength there and pretty healthy. And of course, they got that loaded roster over there that they have that they could throw at you. So, you give the Niners credit there for hanging in there and making it as far as they have. But unfortunately, health is a big thing at this time of the year. If you get a key injury, then that can really set you back. And the Eagles were able to take care of business there at home. And now they head to the Super Bowl to take on the AFC winner, which was between, of course, Cincinnati and Kansas City. And the Chiefs pulled that out 23-20. That was a pretty entertaining game. Started off like the Chiefs are going to, got off to a quick start there. It looked like they were going to probably run away with it because Burrow couldn't get any protection, kept getting sacked. The momentum seemed to be in Kansas City's favor, but then the Bengals kind of turned the tides and got a score, got back in the game there. And then, of course, it came down to the final minutes there where a couple of bad interceptions there by Burrow. You can't have those turnovers at the key parts of the game like that. And then, of course, toward the end there, the linebacker or the defensive end chasing Mahomes, unfortunately, makes contact with him out of bounds. That brings up the 15-yard penalty, shortens the field now from the potential 60-yard field goal down to something in the 43 range, 45-yard field goal. So that obviously made a huge difference there. I mean, I think the Chiefs still had about 8 seconds left. So you know how it is with Mahomes, man. Even from a 60-yard attempt, he probably had 8 seconds. He probably could have made a quick play, maybe gotten a few more yards to make up for that had there not been that penalty. But yeah, it was unfortunate for that guy. He's just hustling, trying to chase down Mahomes, who kind of got around and looked pretty good on that bum ankle there, making that run there. But he just really grinded it out to lead his team to the Super Bowl here. So got to give kudos to Mahomes for kind of playing through the injury and being as effective as he was. I mean, you would think that that's going to limit him in many ways, and especially they had a couple of injuries with receiver getting hurt and two receivers actually. Juju got hurt. It looked like Tony went down. So they really were, he's able to find other ways to make it happen. Got, some key plays, of course, from the defense. Chris Jones, especially with a couple of big sacks there. So, yeah, so KC's back to the Super Bowl again. This is the third time in 5 years now for Mahomes. So they're going to run into Philly on February 12th. So that's going to be fun to see KC and Andy Reid go up against his old team in Philly. You also have the two Kelsey brothers, one on each side, going to be kind of matched up with each other there. So we'll look forward to that. This is already Super Bowl 57, so zipping right by. Early line, it looks like I think Kansas City was initially the favorite, but the line has moved. Now for bettors out there. This is according to covers.com, of course, but point spread shows 1.5. Philly is the favorite now, and over under of 49.5. So we'll see if that line changes as we get closer to the game time. Philly, for the most part, I mean, early look at this, Philly's pretty healthy and looks like they have all their guys kind of ready to go. KC's dealing with a few injuries there, and we'll have to see how the Smith-Schuster injury affects him. And the Kadarius Toney, of course, got knocked out of that game, but will he be able to come around and help him out there? Mahomes, of course, has the ankle injury. So we'll see if that extra week and a half, 2 weeks now between yesterday's game and the Super Bowl, that's going to give him time to rest up. Maybe high ankle sprains, as I said before, take a while to heal up. But Mahomes looked pretty good 1 week after the injury on that thing, and I mean, if anybody can do this, it looks like he's going to be able to play through it. Jalen Hurts, of course, for Philly, he had injured his shoulder there toward the end of the year, but he now gets an extra week or 2 weeks now to rest that shoulder, and maybe that'll get him closer to being 100% come Super Bowl weekend. So, yeah, going to be fun, man. I think a lot of people, of course, going to be a million people going to be, can't wait to see this. So obviously something for all of us to look forward to as sports fans. Unfortunately, I got to say, goodbye to Cincinnati, who had a great year. Of course, was the AFC champ last year. Looked like they were sniffing it. I thought they were going to march down the field and win it, pull it off again and get back to the Super Bowl. But they come up a little short. They had, the injuries on the offensive line there, I think, were a big, kind of a big thing. They had a thing to overcome, and I don't think they weren't quite able to do that. And then the Niners, they had a great year. Was that like a 12-game winning streak heading into this game? But unfortunately, the injuries at the quarterback spot there kind of ruined it for them. So they got nothing to be ashamed of. They had a great year and a great run to get this far. But Philly was a team that was kind of at the top for much of the year, so not a surprise to see them come out on top. But as I've talked to a couple friends about it too, this is like probably the best four teams out there. So the final four I thought was a pretty solid bunch. You could make the argument, okay, maybe Dallas or Buffalo or something like that could have been in one of those spots. But either way, it was a good final four to for this final weekend here. Now we're on to the last two. So this will be fun. We'll keep an eye on how these guys feel going into the Super Bowl, and maybe I'll come up with a new video for you guys next week here with more of an update. And then of course I like to keep an eye on personnel changes and coaching changes at this time. There's some spots being filled. In terms of the head coaching spots, the Carolina Panthers named Frank Reich their head coach, so he's going to step in. Of course, Matt Rule was let go kind of middle of the season there. Wilkes stepped in and did a really good job there as the interim coach. Maybe justified getting that job full time, but Carolina is going with Frank Reich, of course, the guy who was recently Indy's head coach. Did a good job there. He kind of let him go, and I don't think replacing him with Jeff Saturday really propelled that team, or necessarily was a move that made a difference in a positive way for the Colts. But hey, now the Colts get, the Panthers get their guy with Frank Reich. It looks like Houston is close to naming D'Amico Ryans their head coach. He, of course, is the 49ers defensive coordinator, and now their season is officially over. He, of course, was a former linebacker with Houston, but he had some sort of lawsuit, so it looked like they kind of are, water under the bridge, moving on from that. So it looks like he's getting closer to being named the head coach there. Also saw that he's not interested in the Denver job. That's another vacant position there that hasn't been filled yet. You hear about Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh, but those names seem to kind of been put on the back burner now. It's kind of like other names are seemingly looking like they're going to line up and land in these other spots. So Arizona, I think, was another guy that another team that was in on the D'Amico Ryans talk there, but I don't know where exactly that sits with them. Other than that, there's a couple of assistant jobs it looks like they're going to get filled here. The Chargers are hiring Kellen Moore for offensive coordinator as their offensive coordinator. Joe Lombardi, of course, was let go after last year. So Kellen Moore, the Cowboys decided, hey, we're going to move on from Kellen Moore. Mike McCarthy is going to take over play calling type duties there. We'll see if that makes a difference. He may be being instructed to do that. I don't know. Cowboys did also get news that Dan Quinn will be returning as defensive coordinator. So that's, I'm sure, a guy that they're happy to have back in on their side. It looks like Miami is going to be hiring Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator. I think he's a special consultant or advisor for the Eagles this past year, but he, of course, is one of the top defensive minds in the league. He looks like he's going to be getting a contract to go to Miami as their defensive coordinator. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Tampa Bay's interviewed University of Georgia's offensive coordinator Todd Monken, who also interviewed with Baltimore last week. So, obviously Georgia just won the national championship there. So might be a guy that they have a spot there to fill with after they let go of Byron Leftwich. So, vacancy there for the offensive coordinator spot for Tampa. And then Atlanta's hired Ryan Nielsen as defensive coordinator, replacing Dean Pease, who's retiring. Nielsen was with New Orleans the last couple of years as an assistant there. So, yeah, a couple of items there in the coaching search. So, we'll continue to keep, as the news starts to come, we'll continue to keep you guys posted. So I just want to come at you guys real quick with a quick update on, this past weekend and then some updated coaching search kind of outcomes. So we'll continue to keep you posted as more info comes available. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. All right. Bye.